Ladies and gentlemen of Ballet International, today we have the honor to have a prestigious guest online. Good evening, Mrs. Lorna.
Hello, Jean-Pierre.
How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well.
Okay. So, Lorna, you have such a great experience about the beautiful part of ballet of South Africa. How did you start learning ballet, and who was in your family the person who gave you this input to study the art of ballet, and how was the technique of ballet at your time when you started?
Well, I trained with Marjorie Sterman,
Yes.
a woman that was born in London, but
Yes.
she came to South Africa as a child.
Yes.
She studied in Johannesburg with Madame Ravodna
Yes.
and in London with Vera Volkova.
Yes.
But she opened a studio in Pretoria. I grew up in Pretoria.
Yes.
And my mother took me to music lessons and ballet lessons.
Yes.
And, teaching me how to swim and dive and what parents teach all the children. So I just started as a sort of a 6-year-old. And I did all my grades 1 to 5 of the Royal Academy of Dancing.
Yes.
Of which Miss Sterman was trained in that method.
Yes.
And then I did all my majors, that's pre-elementary, elementary, intermediate, advanced,
Yes.
field.
Yes.
Then I finished school.
Yes.
I was at a convent school until what we call matric in South Africa,
Yes.
standard 10, now called level 12.
Yes.
But Miss Sterman, with Ivy Conley Copley friends,
Yes.
started the Johannesburg Festival Ballet Society in 1944, I think.
Yes.
I was about 13 at the time.
Yes.
So we all wanted to dance with this company
Yes.
that they'd started. It worked with a full orchestra in Johannesburg
Yes.
in cooperation with the opera seasons that were in Johannesburg and toured a little bit.
Yes.
So I joined the Festival Ballet Society
Yes.
and danced with them
Yes.
for many years actually.
Yes.
But in my training, I also was an associate of the Imperial Society of Teachers of Dancing,
Yes.
the Greek dance branch. We all
Yes.
did Greek dance as well as the classical ballet.
Yes.
And then I qualified that,
Yeah.
and with Trinity College I qualified not very high up because I didn't have enough time to practice. I wasn't very good or too stupid.
Yes.
Anyway, my connection now today, or up to now, with ISTD, with the Chiquiti branch,
Yes.
is that I'm on the panel of the fellowship essay. I'm an examiner for the fellowship essay.
Yes.
So that's my connection there.
Yes.
But while we were dancing with festival ballet,
Yes.
we had wonderful artists visit us.
Yes.
We had Fontaine with Michael Soames. We first had Markova and Dolan.
Yes.
They came to dance their feet. Then Dolan stayed to teach us
Yes.
at one of Giselle, the company.
Yes.
Then we did the full Giselle.
Yes.
1 to 2. We also did the Grand Faragat,
Yes.
1845. I danced breezy.
Yes.
So I danced with the Festival Ballet Society
Yes.
for many years actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
when Fontaine, yes, when Fontaine came, I was already quite old. I'd been with the company until I was, I suppose, about 28 years old.
Yes.
So I was with the Festival Ballet from 1947 to 1958.
Yes.
I joined at 16 after school and then danced with them. By 28 I was already married.
Yes.
So I just remember getting back into condition to dance for Fontaine, the great visit of Fontaine. them
Yes.
to do Swan Lake. But
Yes.
we only did that 2 of them. Then later, Nadia and Arena and Alexis Racine came and we did the full Swan Lake with them.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, yes.
But otherwise, we did Sophie, Giselle, Capelia, Spectre de la Rose. I love dancing that, Carnival.
Yes.
Apart from the original ballets that the company produced from time to time, but those are the classics that we sort of
Yes.
crashed through.
Yes.
But you know, we weren't paid, Jean-Pierre. There was only enough money
Yes.
to cover the costumes,
Yes.
the rehearsal venues, and our point shoes.
Yes.
But you must remember, I'm so old that the war, the Second World War, happened
Yes.
when I was still in my teens. So we had great difficulty getting imported point shoes from Fried,
Yes.
or Gamba,
Yes.
and so we sort of nursed them and darned them to get us, you know, get more wear out of them.
Yes. Yes. If I may ask, Lorna, if I may ask, how old are you now?
Now, I was born in 1930. Do the arithmetic. I turned 92.
Wow.
I am now 93.
Congratulations.
Number, I can tell you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, the
Number.
the important is to be always happy and in good mood.
Yes. Well, you know, I moved to our cottage in Belston, which is in the country.
Yes.
So I can still drive around in my car. If
Yeah.
I need to go back up to Pretoria or down to
Yes.
Nelspruit, my son drives me in my car. I
Yes.
don't want to drive on the big roads anymore.
Yes.
But the traffic's terrible. But
Yes.
here it's great. I have a big garden. I have a
Yeah.
vast area of garden, and I do a lot of mainly raking and watering and and trying to keep it tidy. Yeah, but it's a double burger earth. I don't know what that is in
Yes.
6,000 or something. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah. And also, I still go and help the teachers of the Dance Academy of South Africa.
Yes.
Because they do my syllabus. You know, I created
Yes.
their major syllabus.
Yes.
That's pre-elementary, elementary, intermediate, advanced performance.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then they do. So I was up last year.
Yes.
Also just to check the teachers out.
Yes.
So I just keep a finger in a little bit.
Yes.
Also last year, because it's very early this year, I was in Cape Town twice.
Yes.
In February, I wasn't there long, from the 1st to the 11th, and I didn't have any ballet.
Yes.
But when I went again in July,
Yes.
I ostensibly wanted to see the St. Petersburg Ballet we were visiting, but that was all cancelled.
No.
But I watched the Cape City Ballet.
Yes.
Their CEO is Debbie Turner. She's a real bright, wonderful person controlling the company.
Yes, she is
and I
wonderful.
watched the company. Yes, I watched them rehearsing Veronica Parker's R&J.
Yes.
Which reminded me, because R&J, not Veronica's version, but was the
Yes.
first ballet I had to
Yes.
take care of when I came to
Yes.
PACT. But
Yes.
the company was looking good. They've got young dancers and they've got some nice young men, which is always very scarce, you know.
Yes. And if I
so
may,
Cape Town,
if I may ask, Lorna, when you joined the company, when you with
that ballet,
yes, very early, what was the name of the company?
it was called the Performing Arts Council of the Transvaal.
So it wasn't PACT. PACT wasn't existing yet.
It was called PACT. It was called PACT. You see, the government decided to create, or I should say, the government decided to create the Performing Arts Board,
Yes.
plural, in 1963.
Yes.
And they were subsidized by government on a provincial basis.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
each PACT, each performing board, and there was the KPAB, the board in Cape Town. Each province had one.
Yes.
NAPAC was Natal,
Yes.
Pacos was Free State,
Yes.
and the Transvaal was PACT, Performing Arts Council of the Transvaal, PACT
Yeah.
Ballet,
Yes.
and it was subsidized, but it had the opera,
Yes.
full-time,
Yes.
music, orchestra, full-time, theatre department, full-time, and the ballet company, full-time.
So it was a country which had really prestigious, high-class ballet companies.
Yes, it was. It did wonderful ballets. Wonderful. PACT Ballet was great, and the standard was high.
Yes.
The company was about 54 dancers.
Yes.
It had the use of we would sit with the other 4 branches in a planning committee at the beginning of the year and see
Yes.
when was the orchestra going to have its own concert.
Yes.
When would it be involved with the opera productions?
Yes.
When would it be involved with the ballet? So we knew how to plan
Yes.
our seasons in
Yes.
2 or 3 years ahead, of course,
Yes.
and what ballets we would do so that those 4 departments,
Yes.
the theatre department didn't require the orchestra. The opera and the orchestra as such and the ballet all had to synchronize.
Yes.
That was how our seasons fell on
Yeah.
the calendar, you see, to
Yes.
fit in. Yeah.
Yes.
But I had about 54 dancers. I was invited to hold the post
Yes.
originally of resident choreographer in
Yes.
1970,
Yes.
but then I went as artistic director for the ballet company in 79.
Yes.
But from 71 to 78, I was head of the ballet department, the Pretoria High School for Art, Ballet and Music.
Yes.
So and then I went on loan to the TED from PACT in 71.
Yes.
So, So from the Performing Arts Council as resident choreographer for 2 years, 1771, I then went to head the ballet, which had just started, these high schools
Yes.
For ballet,
Yes.
which are still going strong today.
Yes. But do you?
Then I was artistic director of, as you know, the ballet company.
Yes.
From 79 to 83.
Yes.
I stayed for 5 years, but I then decided to retire after 5 years
Yes.
and landed up becoming a senior lecturer
Yes.
for 11 years
Yes.
at the Tshwane University, the Faculty of Humanities there.
Yes.
So I was a senior lecturer there,
Yes.
which was easier because with a company you're away, you go on tour.
Yes.
I was from 69
Yes.
to 2008 the examiner for the matriculation level of practical ballet for
Yes.
the Department of Education.
Yes.
And I've always been for the Society of Dance Teachers a trustee on the bursary panel,
Yes.
involved all over
Yes.
in South Africa.
Yes.
I now, as I told you, examine the fellowship as SA for Chiketi.
Yes.
I also constructed the dance component of movement, historical dance and period department for
Yes.
the University of Pretoria's drama department.
Yes.
I've also produced 2 operas, by the way,
Wow.
with orchestra.
Wow.
We did Orpheus and Eurydice, Orfeo, and we did Dido and Aeneas. That
Nice.
was in 89, and the other season was 91. That was for the City Opera and Orchestra.
Beautiful.
So you see, so it goes. What else can I tell you?
So, when you first started as a child, your first class of ballet, was it your mother
Yes.
or someone in your family, or was it only you that you said, okay, I want to give a go and do ballet?
No, it doesn't work like that in South Africa. I have one brother.
Yes.
He was an architect. He's recently died. But my mother decided little girls have ballet lessons and they have swimming lessons and they have music lessons.
Yes.
We even went to elocution lessons, which was very boring.
Yes.
So I didn't know anything about ballet. It didn't come from me seeing ballet and saying I want to do that.
Yes.
I just went to dancing class, as it was called,
Yes.
you know.
Yes, and
But
how?
I enjoyed it once I was there. I only remember when I was in elementary, and by now we'd seen I have lots of ballet books. Remember, in my day, we didn't have any movies, we didn't have TV or anything like that. So we could only see still photographs of every Christmas, every birthday I wanted ballet books, which they had to find or specially order,
Yes.
because there's not a lot of those kind of books in the Pretoria
Yes.
bookshops. But I can remember when I was about 13, 14, going into the major syllabus level,
Yeah.
I said to my mother, I have to give up. My legs aren't high enough. I looked at these girls with the developer going right up above their head, and mine was wobbling away at 90 degrees. I think I was about 12 or 13. She said, well, it's the middle of the year. You can't give up now, but I understand. You finish the year, and then you give up. Well, by the time I'd done the next 3 or 4 months and got to the end of the year, I decided, no, I didn't want to give up. So there was a bit of a glimpse there in pre-elementary. But then I went on to do the solo seal eventually.
Yes.
And when I left dancing, I did my advanced teacher's diploma, because I thought, well, now I have to do teaching, you know.
Yes.
So I did my advanced teacher's diploma. I was about 23, 4 or 5 by then.
So you
But I
started,
had
after the diploma, you started teaching directly?
Yes, I started teaching in my own school, and while I was doing that, the Transvaal Education Department had formed these high schools for art, ballet and music.
Yes.
So I got involved with that, and then I ran that. I was the head of the ballet department for the
Yes.
Pretoria High School.
Yes.
And we did an annual ballet season. I
Yes.
had 3 or 4 male students. You auditioned. It was ideal because they weren't just any school children. They all auditioned.
Yes.
And we only had openings each year for about 10 to 12, 13, 14 in the class.
Yes.
Because the school also had art and music.
Yes.
So the whole year had to consist of, say, 30 to 40 pupils, of which 12 were ballet, 12 were music, 12 were art.
Yes.
So of that balance of 12, so you saw them every day for class,
Yes.
and you saw them from Monday to Friday.
Yes.
So you could get a very good standard.
Yes.
They still went in the afternoon to their art teachers to pass their RAD or
Yes.
Tiketi exam.
Yes.
But in the school, they're high school students.
Yes.
And they, that was very rewarding, because you weren't teaching a syllabus. You had to work out how to get the best out of these students,
Yes.
to enhance their technique.
Yes.
And it meant traveling, looking at other companies,
Yes.
trying to get to Russia, which was a closed book for us, actually.
Yes.
Yes. So I found those years at the School of Art, Ballet and Music, the high school, the Pretoria High School of Art,
Yes.
Ballet and Music,
Yes.
when I was heading the ballet company.
Yes.
I found that very rewarding, and made me analyze more how to teach
Yes.
outside of a set syllabus.
Yes.
Yeah. And more anatomically and so on. Yeah.
Yes. So you developed your teaching, of course, after your examination to become a teacher.
Yes. I danced myself, if we think of it in seasons like that.
Yes.
Then I did as a student, I did my exams up
Yes.
to solo seal,
Yes.
RAD, and my
Yes.
Greek exams with
Yes.
ISTD and
Yes.
historical dance. I also did choreology,
Yes.
because I had to do distance correspondence, because I was also very interested in the African dances, which
Yes.
were difficult to see. They weren't coming to town or anything.
Yes.
You had to find out when they were doing an initiation dance,
Yes.
travel into the country. So I learned how to notate movement so
Yes.
that I could notate these dances.
Yes.
So Volkerkunde, we call it. I also did a year in the archaeology department
Yes.
as a Buitenmeester student at the Pretoria University
Yes.
to study arts and crafts and dance of African
Yes.
tribes. Yeah.
You
So
you
that was another interesting.
you were born in
So
Pretoria.
I was born in Pretoria.
Yes.
All my life living in Pretoria
Yes.
and traveling. I mean, when we danced in festival ballet, we traveled to Johannesburg. I continued to live in Pretoria.
Yes.
Because the early morning train, we got to Johannesburg to do class and do rehearsals for festival ballet, which was based in Johannesburg.
And how were
And
you?
when we weren't
How were you traveling from Pretoria to Johannesburg with your car?
by
or
train,
by train?
no, by train. Yes, remember we are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We were about 4.
Yes.
We was 4, 5 to begin with, then 4. Girls from Pretoria, Miss Thurman used to teach in Pretoria, remember?
Yes.
And she also had a small studio in
Yes.
Johannesburg. But her biggest studio was Pretoria. There was a Pretoria Ballet Club. As teenagers, we all danced in ballets for Miss Thurman in the Pretoria Ballet Club.
Yes.
But then when we had matriculated and finished school and we joined festival ballet,
Yes.
we had to go to class and rehearsals in Johannesburg.
Yes.
So we all caught the 8:15 from the Pretoria station. It had a refreshment car on it, so you could order coffee.
Yes.
And then we'd walk up Elof Street to her studio in Polyack Buildings,
Yes.
and then do class. By then it's 10 o'clock. Class started at 10.
Yes.
It was a fast train. 8:15 to 9:20 we were getting out in the Johannesburg station.
Yes.
Walking up to her studios and dancing the company class
Yes.
and rehearsals. And then coming back home if there wasn't an evening performance or a season on.
Yes.
But we would be rehearsing in the afternoons and so
Yes.
on. Yeah.
Was the civic theatre already existing at that time?
No. We didn't dance. The Civic hadn't been built yet when I was dancing. We danced at His Majesty's Theatre. We danced at 3 or 4, the great big Colosseum stage. There had to be an orchestra pit. We danced at the old Opera House, which had an opera. In Pretoria, we danced at the Opera House, which had a small orchestra pit.
Yes.
So I remember then the orchestra was reduced slightly.
Yes.
But we also toured to Durban.
Yes.
But then we had to use the Durban Orchestra, so we had to go earlier for them for
Yes.
more rehearsals and so on.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
But
So
our parents paid. Yeah, we got our costumes paid for and we got our shoes paid for.
yes.
But our living costs we had to meet ourselves. So I was dependent on my parents. It was not a fully professional.
Yes.
The seasons weren't long enough, and there weren't enough audience in
Yes.
South Africa at that
Yes.
stage. You know.
Yes.
That's I think why Cape Town, at least Cape Town survived, but NAPAC didn't.
Yes.
You know, when we got to PACT, NAPAC had very little money, very little support, PACOS, but PACT with Johannesburg
Yes.
was very successful, and
Yes.
Cape Town was very successful.
Yes.
So when they were all closed down, you know, they closed down in '94 when the new government came in, you know, when we
Yes.
became
Yes.
kosher.
Yes.
And there was the new government.
Yes.
These performing arts councils were all cancelled overnight.
Oh,
Overnight, 16,000 people losing their jobs.
goodness. Yes.
And it, you know, when I look now, it's such a pity because the black man dances. He loves dancing, but even more, he loves singing.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to get an opera company going for them. If they'd hung into PACT, which had such a big repertoire of, you know, orchestra scores
Yes.
and costumes and all of that just disintegrated in
Yeah.
'94.
Yes. And
collapse.
so the only company who is still alive now is the Cape Town.
Cape City Ballet
Yes.
and the Johannesburg, I don't know, they call themselves Josie or something.
Yes.
I haven't been to see their seasons for a
Yes.
while, and I'm really not up on what they're up to. But
Yes.
I think, to be honest, the buzz is Cape Town. Cape Town has
Yes.
got lots of interesting dancers, Cape Town dancers.
Yes.
Cape Town men, coloured men,
yes.
black men dancing, a wonderful mix, yes.
Well,
there's a great vibe of dance in the Cape.
This is
I'm
thanks.
sure it's in Johannesburg, but I'm not au fait with it in Johannesburg.
Yeah, I think this is thanks to Madame Debbie Turner, who is a real fighter.
Debbie Turner.
Yes, she's a real fighter to keep dance alive in Cape Town.
You see, yes, you remember she started the Cape Academy of Performing Arts in Tokai, which was a full-time 3-year tertiary education.
Yes.
Which was, a foundation year for homeschooled students, really. And there was a pre-professional classic dance program.
Yes.
And a pre-professional dance and musical theatre program.
Yes.
So she came to the company after Elizabeth Prichard left
Yes.
with a lot of experience from that point of view.
Yes. Yes.
And then she closed her school of, her Cape Academy of Performing Arts. She closed that down because now she's running the ballet.
Whenever
CEO of City Ballet.
Whenever you shall see in July Mrs. Debbie Turner, send her my best regards.
I will indeed. Yes. I'm always invited. I go and watch rehearsals, keep my eye on them.
Yes.
But the season started after I'd come home.
Yes.
She'd gotten, she is in a position, for instance, she took one of her senior girls to England, to the UK, to see a production of Romeo and Juliet.
Wow.
She paid all the expenses personally. And so she gives the dancers also wonderful experiences because I think she can, from her personal funds, help them.
Yes.
Because I also think they run on very little funds. They have to ask for subsidies and ask for donations and so on.
Yes. And
I will give her your good wishes when I see her. I go to Cape Town every year.
Thank you.
So I will go this year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Could you describe to our audience of Ballet International who was and how was teaching Mrs. The first teacher that you had? I don't remember her name.
Sturman.
Yes.
Marjorie Sturman.
How was she?
We were all we were all terrified of her, and I thought she was an old lady. But I'm now only 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When I look back, she never changed. She was, by the time I'm sort of dancing in her company and I'm 20, I realize she's not an old lady at all. But to a child, but Miss Sturman was quite stern and never gave any praise.
Yes.
But she was really very thorough. We were well trained, Jean-Pierre.
Yes.
I mean, we had to know the names of the steps.
Yes.
When I look at teachers today, they're not using the full terminology.
Yes.
They say hop, skip, jump, come here, run. They're not using, so when those girls get into a professional class and somebody says, bourrée or something.
Yes.
But Ms. Sturman insisted that we knew our anatomy, we knew our muscles, our bones, and also our terminology.
Yes.
So we all had a notebook and we had to make notes from our class.
Yes.
Once we were about 12, 13, when you're younger, you're not up to that.
Yes.
But I can remember, and we loved her to bits, if she's, but we were also a bit nervous of her. She'd never say, well done, beautiful, gorgeous. She'd just look at you and say, try harder. Get your leg up higher. Yes.
Well, of course, the technique of that time was totally different from the technique that...
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I taught, when I started teaching, I was beginning to teach differently. And you see, that's what being at the art school, I could analyze. You don't have to stand there and do rond de jambe anglais 16, with one leg turned round, one leg the other side.
Yes.
We were transferring weight. We were going quite differently by the time I started teaching.
Yes.
And of course today even further, because when I wrote the syllabus for the DASA, the Dance Academy, which they've done now for quite a number of years,
Yes.
it's also different.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's lots of jazz music. You know, even the music has brightened up and changed, and there's more variety and so on, and more orchestral accompaniment to the
Yes.
set work. I mean, I'm talking about a syllabus. They go in long before the RAD brought orchestral music, you know, was
Yes.
always a pianist.
Yes.
I had in this Dance Academy's major syllabus I created, already the whole advanced performance was all done on orchestrated music. Recorded, of course, because live pianists are very scarce now.
Yes.
In fact, non-existent almost.
Yes.
So the music was recorded from the beginning,
Yes.
and I could use wonderful recordings plus full orchestral recordings if I thought it was appropriate by the advanced performance level and advanced, not with the younger, you know, the intermediate and elementary levels.
Yes.
They're still with
Yes.
all the lovely,
Yes.
you know, Chopin and,
Yes, yes.
and learning their composers, their classical composers before
Yes.
moving into
So
trickier stuff.
you had the privilege to work with Margot Fontein.
Yes,
And how was she as a person, as a ballerina, and how was her soul, and how was she with the other dancers of the company?
she was most polite and elegant, I should say. She arrived, she greeted everybody, she remembered our names. We were all sort of very reticent. We didn't push ourselves forward.
Yes.
I had been, I was a leading swan. She came first to do Swan Lake Act 2. So I then became one of the little swans, you know, the PACT,
Yes.
the four swans, because we were demoted down
Yes.
because she was taking the lead.
Yes.
But she was charming. She was quiet spoken, elegant. We thought she was absolutely wonderful. She seemed to be so reserved, but not removed.
Yes.
And soft spoken, very different to working with Nerina, who
Yeah.
was quite pushy and, you know,
Yes.
not quite so, yes. Whereas working with Markova, because Markova did solfeges with us, she
Yeah.
never said a word to anybody.
Yes.
And she never rehearsed. She came in high heels,
Yes.
and she came in full clothes, street clothes,
Yeah.
and just said, "Where are you? Move here." And she sort of walked. She was just sensing her position on the stage,
Yes.
but walking in her street clothes
Yes.
and her shoes.
Yes.
And so we never saw her dance until we were actually doing the performance with her.
Yes. Yes.
So, but with Fontaine, she was in her practice clothes.
Yes.
She arrived, she changed, and always, we all loved her. We were so impressed.
She
impressed
was.
us as a woman, as a dancer.
Yes.
Yes.
She was very humble person.
I think so. She didn't have any airs and graces.
Yes.
I think that's why I think she was so sincere.
Yes.
You know, as a
Yes.
person,
Yes.
you pick that up immediately.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yes.
She noticed everybody. She didn't push and come and talk to you.
Yes.
But if you caught her eye, she would smile.
Yes.
And if you were coming in and you said good morning, she'd say, "Good morning, Lorna." She remembered our names
Yes.
also, you know, and what was she with us for a few weeks and then gone again, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
It's
we loved
incredible,
her.
incredible to hear all this. It's
Yes,
a much
yes.
better. It's
She
a
wasn't-
you are
she
you are
wasn't-
a you
you
are
know,
a living book. You are a living book.
You know, to get back to Fontaine,
Yes.
she didn't knock our eyes out with her technique, like the legs and the point work and the pirouettes.
Yes.
That she I don't know. It was her artistry, I think.
Yes.
You know, she had beautiful technique, but she was not a whiz kid, bing bang kind of technique.
Yes,
If
yes.
you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes.
But you watched her career, great creative artist.
Yes.
Mm.
And how did you feel when you were dancing in difficult roles?
The most difficult role for me was Sleeping Beauty, because of that ballet rose adage, where you're standing in attitude on one leg and I get cramp in my supporting calf.
Yes.
Because you're standing in attitude as each prince brings you a rose, which you've got to get.
Yes.
Go on balance, put it above your head,
Yes.
in your hand, the left hand, and yeah. I found the rose adage and the solo, that ballet scared me, because it was a big responsibility. Doing solfège was like putting on your bedroom slippers, you know.
Yes.
I was the waltz girl or the prelude girl, the mazurka girl, but that ballet and the other ballets I wasn't very good at things like Capelia. I didn't have enough personality, and I was no good at Giselle.
Yes.
So I couldn't be very dramatic, and I couldn't be very soubrette.
Yes.
I had to just be middle of the road, you know. Spectre suited me,
Yes.
Pas de Quatre suited me, and carrying on the roles,
Yes.
yeah, as it went. But the most scary role for me was Sleeping Beauty, Aurora.
Aurora, yes. So finally, when you were reaching the fourth prince who would give you the rose, you would say, "Oh, finally, I made it."
I don't think that goes through your head with all the orchestra and the music and the dances. But afterwards, I just thought, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Yeah. But then we had 3 casts always. Miss Thurman never had 1 cast.
Yes.
And you know, when she taught a ballet,
Yes.
you had to learn all. You didn't know what part you were getting. For instance, we learned all the fairy variations.
Yes.
And we learned all the bits and pieces.
Yes.
And then the cast went up and you saw, oh my gosh, I'm actually Aurora. And when I'm not Aurora, I'm the lilac fairy or whatever. So she made us, and I think it was also a way of her seeing what we were capable of in the various roles. We never analyzed it like that then, but if I think about it now, it was quite a crafty move. But what it also meant was if somebody was ill or not able to dance, there were 2 or 3 she could call on and say, you've got to go on tonight because Susie's got measles or mumps or something, you know.
Yes.
And we all had double roles. We were not cast in one role. We were cast in at least 2 or 3, and each role had 2 or 3 girls that could do it, which covered her.
Yes.
And we tried to do that, of course, with the professional PACT ballet, where you have more, you know.
Yes.
Well, there you've got senior principals, and you've got principals, and then senior soloists and soloists. I mean, when I was with PACT ballet, it was very more professional. I mean, the staff was amazing.
Oh,
but
yes.
You know, there were 4 senior principals, right?
Yes.
2 boys, 2 girls.
Yes.
4 roof dancers, principals, 2 girls, 2 boys.
Yes.
Then senior soloists, 2 girls, 2 boys, or maybe 1 boy, 3 girls. Then soloists.
Yes.
Then your senior corps de ballet. Then your corps de ballet. Then your junior corps de ballet, of which you had 6. So running PACT ballet was a very different story to me as a dancer in festival ballet.
Yes.
You know, now it was really professional.
Yes.
And scary.
Well, ballet is always scary, you know. It's always scary.
It's a great responsibility to head a company.
Yes.
And you sort of, you're a cross between a psychologist and a mother and a you know, I don't know, that you've got to really know your dancers. You've got to watch performances.
Yes.
And sometimes personality clashes. And then apart from all of that, you've got the wardrobe to worry a bit.
Yes.
The stage managing people.
Yes. And
and then the choreologists, the repeteurs.
Yes.
Teachers,
how did you let's say got nominated artistic director? Did they made you?
I was invited.
So you were invited by the general director.
To head the company.
Yes.
Yes, I was invited by the. I never applied for the job. I never applied for any job, in fact.
Yes.
Because I was invited to hold the post of resident choreographer for PACT ballet.
Yes.
And then And then when I was head of the ballet department at the High School of Art, Ballet and Music,
Yes.
I can remember them just saying, "You have to run this."
Yes.
I had been on the committee that helped form the syllabus.
Yes.
And then they said, "You have to come and be head of the department in Pretoria."
Yes.
Mr. Sturman is head of the school in Johannesburg.
Yes.
And then there was an Afrikaans branch, the Crane, in Johannesburg too.
Yes.
So we were mainly invited, yes. I hate to tell you.
Do you miss those days?
And then when I was senior lecturer, I didn't apply for that job at the University of Technology.
Yes.
You know, the Faculty of Humanities.
Yes.
I was asked by the dean to come and lecture in the School of Performing Arts.
Yes.
So I had previously guided the creation of the syllabus,
Yes.
and I'd advised it to be in two streams, i.e. a performer stream
Yes.
and a teacher stream, because you can't produce. I was at PACT at the time, and I said to him, if you're going to create this department, you can't only have it for performance, because I can't absorb more than maybe 1 or 2 dancers in any year at the company. It's
Yes.
only if people leave
Yes.
that I have vacancies. So you have to double stream it
Yes.
to be a performer and a teacher's course.
Yes.
So this had to be passed by government, which
Yes.
they accepted.
Yes.
And it became the only South African tertiary level offering a teaching qualification.
Yes.
That was a 3rd-year diploma or
Yes.
a 4th-year degree.
Yes.
So he said to me, "You have to come and lecture in the school that you helped us create." And I stayed for 11 years. But very different from running a company, because you only go down in town for your lecture.
Yes.
You know, you're at home. You
Yes.
work from your office at home, prepare your lectures. Because I also lectured in history of costume.
Yes.
I said, "I don't know anything about it." They said, "We can't find anybody else." So I boned up. I found that very interesting in the end. Yeah.
Yes.
So I gave class, I did repertoire, I lectured all of the departments then, because the opera and the drama did history of psychology of clothing, which led to designing. You had to know your periods
Yes.
to design if you were working in a Rococo or a,
Yes.
whichever years and so on. So that was also quite interesting.
Yes.
And but then you also have holidays. So that was nice. 11 years being a senior lecturer is quite an easy job compared to running a company. Yeah.
So while you were the artistic director, you met Ashley Killer, who was the choreographer.
Ashley Killer applied to come as a dancing master.
Yes.
And he sent all his qualifications,
Yes.
and we accepted him as a dancing master.
Yes.
We did not employ him as a choreographer.
Yes.
We employed him as a teacher, as
Yes.
a teacher and
Yes.
a repetiteur to take rehearsals.
Yes.
But once he arrived, he said, "Oh, I would love to choreograph a small ballet."
Yes.
So we gave him a chance to choreograph.
Yes.
I think he did Dark Waves was his first ballet,
Yes.
which was very nice.
Yes.
But he was really, then slowly, he wanted to do more. His ambition was to be a choreographer. He
Yes.
did the few small ballets that we took touring and so
Yes.
on,
Yes.
but he was not initially employed. He was an assistant. He was ballet master, and then later we could put stroke choreographer.
Yes. But I remember while I was there, because I have been working with PACT from 1980 up to 1982. And
Yes, 81, 82, or 80, 81, 82, yes.
Yes, and there was a beautiful program in which all the ballet company was involved. The program was Ballet Ivoire. I don't know if you remember that.
That's my ballet.
Exactly.
That's the ballet. Yes.
Yes.
Well, Ivoire was, you see, now that, I don't put myself forward as a choreographer for a company.
Yes.
But the PACT had been given money
Yes.
to produce a ballet from Ivoire, is
Yeah.
one of the company,
Yes.
and Ashley was expected to do the choreography.
Yes.
Okay? So now he's also choreographing another ballet.
Yes.
So he's doing two. He's supposed to do this grant, which was Ivoire,
Yes.
because it was money from this department,
Yes.
from this firm, a gift to produce a ballet,
Yes.
and it was a triple bill. And he wanted to do the other one, what was it called? He used a double stage.
Yes.
Halfway through rehearsal time, or planning time, he said, I can't do this second ballet. I haven't got time.
Yes.
So head of PACT, now I'm only artistic director, I'm not head of PACT ballet, the
Yeah.
whole caboodle.
Yes.
He just said to me, well then you've got to either get another choreographer or you've got to do it yourself.
Yes.
I said, but this is now very short notice.
Yes.
So I had to bite the bullet. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, I'm sticking my head out here, but this is money we've been donated. It's a gift. It has to be, they have to get recognition on the program.
Yes.
So, you know, it was really something, I can tell you.
Yes. I
So
remember
I chose that pooling,
Yes.
and I asked Peter Casley to design,
Yes.
and Michaelitos, you know, Nick, to do the lighting.
Yes.
But and then I said, well, I want Dawn as the principal.
Yes.
And then Ashley said, but Dawn is busy doing my ballet.
Yes.
And so I had to come down then to using Arlene, who was
Yes.
a principal,
Yes.
but not a senior principal.
Yes.
Because Dawn was completely mixed, completely involved with Ashley. I was a bit annoyed at the time because he had really let us down in a way.
Yes.
But that's long gone. And I couldn't use Maxine.
Yes.
I think she was also involved covering something.
Yes.
So my next girl had to be Arlene
Yes.
with Ian Knowles, because it was, I think it was Philip Beckley. He was too short.
Yes.
Jeremy Coles was involved with
Yes.
Dawn and so on. Bruce
Yes.
Simpson wasn't strong enough for me.
Yes.
So I used Ian Knowles,
Yes.
and I was very pleased with him. But it was not easy for me to choreograph,
Yes.
you know,
I remember that
because I don't
also.
see myself as a choreographer.
I remember that also James Riveros he made a choreography del Sol una
Yes.
canción.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you see, there was this triple bill,
Yes.
and then James was going to do a ballet, Ashley was going to do two ballets or one ballet,
Yes.
and then he wanted to do two,
Yes.
and then he didn't have time to do two, so
Yeah.
I had to jump in.
Yes.
But it was not the decision from the beginning
Yes.
at all.
Yes. So you had
It was actually sponsorship, if I remember properly now, from Revlon.
yes.
They gave PACT Ballet the opportunity to present a program of
Yes.
4 new works.
Yes.
And two of I did Ivoire, Ashley did Saraband,
Yes.
and
James
then he
made
did Forgotten Summer, and James Riveros did Una
There's-
Canción de Sol, what
del,
something like
del
that?
sol del sol una canción, which
That's
which in English means from the sun comes a song.
That's right, yes.
Yes.
So you see, Ashley, by doing two ballets,
Yes.
let down this sponsorship from Revlon, which
Yeah.
had presented money for 4 ballets.
Yes. But I remember it was a beautiful performance. However, I mean, beside all the problems.
Yes, I used the Sykes around. I got a good review, by the way. I got good reviews.
And do you miss those days, Lorna? Do you miss those days?
Sorry, do I?
Do you miss those
I
days?
don't. No, I miss them. I'll tell you why. I think I was very fulfilled. And when I think back, I think I was very lucky.
Yeah.
I had good teaching. I enjoyed a happy family life.
Yes.
I loved my brother.
Yes.
And I loved dancing.
Yes.
I regret nothing. I'd missed anything. I think back and I think I was lucky. Because even teaching at the school
Yes.
made me analyze a teaching system.
Yes.
Going to PACT, running the company. In fact, when they invited me, I said, I have to think about this. And I said to my daughter, I don't know how to run a company. Do you think I must do this? And she said, I can't advise you, but how would you feel if you didn't try?
Yes.
So I said, you're right, I've got to go and try. So, yes. And I think I could have been, maybe I wish I'd known what I know now when I first went to PACT. Because when I first went to the company, I had never been involved with so many adults and professional dancers,
Yes.
you know. So I was a greenhorn, I think, because up to then I'd handled students,
Yes.
senior students, up to the age of 18, 19, 20.
Yes.
And the dancers were complicated. I found some of them too immature as people even.
Yes.
So it was a wake-up call for me to go to the company. But that's why after 5 years I just said no. I'm away all the time touring.
Yes.
I don't see my family enough.
Yes.
I can't, you know. So once I left and went to the Tshwane University, that
Yes.
School of Performing Arts,
Yes. Yes.
then I could design costumes again,
Yes.
and I could do little choreographies at the Breitenbach Theatre.
Yes. Yes.
And that was a really nice time for me. And we had a wonderful group of people around us. Dani playing the piano,
Yes.
and who went to Cape Town after. He left
Yes.
PACT when I left the piano.
Yes.
He followed us to Technikon, and then he went down to Cape Town, which is, I see him every time I go to the Cape.
Yes.
And Susan Buerta, a great person, wonderful. You should try and talk to her because she's very involved still.
Yes.
And she's involved right up to the Amalusi, the matriculants and dance in the higher levels. She set the syllabus for levels 10, 11 and 12.
Yes.
School now, it's a high school ballet.
Yes.
So she's a wonderful person to talk to, very positive. I always stay with her at Grotto Bay for a few days.
I remember that when I was very young when I joined PACT Ballet. I was only 20 years old. I remember there were two teachers, guest teachers, Gillian Joubert, who was working at the Technikon, and Keen Yetman.
Yes. Now, Gillian Joubert was a student of mine.
Yes.
She started with me as a child, did all her grades, did all her majors in my studio.
Yes.
And then she auditioned for the company.
Yes.
And because she had a heavier build, not suitable for tutus, she took character roles and national roles. You know, she would be the head of the Schaudass or the Mazurk and so on, but turned into a wonderful teacher.
Yes.
Wonderful teacher.
Yes, I remember her classes were very strong.
Yeah. Yes, very strong. And then you also had Ken Yatman, you said.
Yes, yes. And he was also, it was a different style of class with Ken Yatman, but I prefer Gillian Joubert.
Yes, I think Gillian was more rounded.
Yes.
Ken Yatman was what I call an unkind teacher.
Yes.
I watched him rehearse a boy once, a student, not at PACT, at the Art Ballet and Music School.
Yes.
I watched him rehearse a boy until this boy was so tired he nearly dropped down dead.
Wow.
And I said to Ken, Ken, I think you're going too far. I didn't actually personally like Ken as a person very much.
Yes.
So I think I found him a harsh teacher, let's put it that way.
Yes. Do you remember Edgardo Hartley?
Oh, indeed. Yes.
He was a principal dancer and soloist dancer and also a very good teacher.
Yes. And you know, when I first went to PACT, and I had to produce. The first thing I had to do was the Carmen Pas de Deux with Dawn, OK, and Bruce, but not Bruce, the other one. But the first ballet I had to produce was Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
And I said to Eduardo, I don't know anything about these street fights.
Yes.
I said, you have got to help me. You have got to be more than just my principal dancer. You have to be a ballet master with the street scenes, with the fight scenes.
Yes.
We got a man in to help the company learn to do sword fights and things.
Yes.
But Eduardo, he had danced in the ballet before, so he knew it.
Yes.
And he was a great help.
Yes.
Wonderful person.
Yes.
And his Elba, what was his wife's name? His Elba.
Elba, yes. Elba Ray.
Yes. They were a lovely couple. Eduardo, he made a very good ballet master. Very good.
Yes, I remember his classes were wonderful.
Yeah. I don't think, Bruce Simpson became a repetiteur.
Yes,
and
yes.
Nicola Middlemist became ballet mistress.
Yes.
I don't know if she was all that good as I don't know.
Well, I mean, her classes were well good, and I really loved doing her classes. We had, I mean, on my concern as a young dancer, of 20 years old at that time, all the teachers I had with PACT Ballet was a special gift given from God to me, because, I mean, you have to admit that
you got the classwork.
Yes, every day we had different teachers, and each teacher had a different style, and also as a young dancer, I couldn't judge and say I prefer this one or that one the best.
Or that one. Yes, of course. You are just like a sponge absorbing it all.
Exactly.
Which is wonderful, with good variety. That of course is very good in a company. Your company, you must rotate your teachers.
Yes.
If you can afford, and if they're prepared to sit on a temporary, not a full time, but a temporary, so they come for 2 classes a week.
Yes.
Or 1 class a week, and are they available, and so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that I liked very much in the ballet company, and it's a shame that he wasn't teaching, he was only dancing, but he was giving advices, was Malcolm Byrne.
Malcolm Byrne, yes.
And he was also a very good dancer, but the little advices he gave us as a to us as I remember Leonard Prinsloo, Dion Lowe, and that category of dancers who were in junior corps de ballet. His advices were very useful to us, and I think that if it was given to him the chance to teach in PACT Ballet at that time, he would have been a wonderful teacher also. But then he started teaching at the Richmond Ballet in United States, and he had great success.
Good. And didn't Bruce Simpson also go to America?
Yes, he went to Louisville, and he became artistic director, and he made a wonderful job as artistic director, and he directed the company, having a great acclaim and success. Well, he was also, but he had a different type of body of the other dancers. He was very tall.
He was very tall and slender.
Yes. And
not always so strong for pas de deux. So you had to be careful. You had to team him up with Maxine, who was small and light. He couldn't manage lots of
He could go also with Beverly Bagg, who was that type of body.
Horses,
yes. And
Beverly landed up in Canada, didn't she?
Yes. Now she's working in Canada, but I know that now she's also working in United States. And she became.
You disappeared.
She.
Gone.
Sorry? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, you disappeared. Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Beverly is now in United States. She's working
Oh,
there,
okay.
and she's teaching progressing ballet technique, which is a sort of program for ballet dancers, and she's doing wonderful job. And there is also,
Oh, no.
I don't know if you remember Celeste Dovail, but now she is
Celeste?
Celeste Dovail. She was in Corps de Ballet,
No.
and she was very young,
No.
and now she became a teacher, and she's
Yes.
also teaching. And there is also, I don't know if I pronounce well her name, Robin Schiegel. She was, I think, dancing with
Siegel.
yes,
Robin Siegel.
exactly.
Yes.
And now she's also teaching in United States and doing wonderful job. She's the ballerina. She's the ballerina who had the car accident. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes. It comes back now.
Yes.
I just remember when you said, did you say Suzette?
No, it's
Suzette.
Celeste. She was Celeste Dovail. And
that's name, yeah.
and the other one.
Duvale.
Yes,
Duvale. Oh, yes. When you say Duval, I thought, no, wait a bit. So we always said Duvale. Celeste Duval or Duval, yes.
Duval, yes. And she
she was in the Corps de Ballet.
Yes, and now she's teaching in United States, and she's head of a sports center in United States, and she's invited in different places. And the other dancer that I really loved very much was Diane Finch.
Yes, Diane had courage, real courage. You could throw her into that spot. You could spotted her.
Yes.
She came to me once in Durban, and she said to me, Miss Haupt, why haven't you cast me in Giselle? And I looked at her. You remember she was Hamza.
Yes.
And I said to her, you are tall, you are thin, you've got a fabulous personality, you've got a strong technique, but you're not anything like a Giselle. And your hands are too like bananas, bunches of bananas, and we both laughed because, we were both, So she understood, but she was very strong. But she had a comic touch.
Yes.
It was very good when you cast her in roles. Looked like Rosalinda was a great ballet for PACT.
Yes.
Dawn was wonderful, and she was wonderful in it too.
Yes.
You had to be careful how you cast your dancers,
Yes.
So, and then they complain they've got too much work, or they complain they haven't got enough roles, or they aren't getting the roles they want. Got to try and keep them all happy.
So, Lorna, we have nearly reached the end of our phone interview. There are three
I
little.
hope I haven't talked a whole lot of rubbish to you.
No, not at all.
For phoning.
So,
and it's all so long ago, I'm old now, and this is all in the past.
Well, you are not old. You are not old.
I look at all the Beryl Gray died the other day, 93.
So, Lorna, what is your wish that you would like to express to the young dancers who will be following your interview today?
Oh gosh. Well, if you really want to dance, it is a wonderful career. It's a difficult career. Things can come in the way. But it's very rewarding because once you get into a class, that's also important. It's not only just dancing on the stage.
Yes.
That morning class where you think of nothing, all your troubles are gone, you're completely absorbed, slowly working through your body, finding it slow warm up. I missed mainly when I stopped dancing my morning class.
Yes.
So the class is therapy. The performances are a test of your of everything,
Yes.
But I think it's a very rewarding profession, but it's a hard profession and a short one.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be still dancing when you're 60, 70 like a pianist.
No.
You can still be performing.
Yes.
So you have to remember that your years dancing are precious because
Yes.
they're not forever.
Yes.
You know, you have a limited, men finish what, when they're 40, 50,
Yes.
girls finish when they're late 30s, and then you're still a very young person with
Yes.
lots of life and ahead of you.
Yes.
So cherish those dancing years.
Yes. And so the second question, you know that on Ballet International group on Facebook and on YouTube, there will be a lot of dancers of PACT Ballet who will watch your interview. So, what is your wish, the wish of love and the wish of hope that you would like to express from your soul, from your heart, to the ex-ballet dancers that you have been working with?
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
No,
I
don't.
hope, I just hope they're all happy. They have rewarding lives. They have people in their lives that love them. Yeah.
You don't have to cry. You don't have to regret anything. Things go. You were a wonderful soul. You were a wonderful person, Lorna. At least for me. You know, even if in the company there were people who were pointing their fingers and criticizing you, but you have been a wonderful artist, and you still are a wonderful lady and artist of ballet. And this is what
Thank you, Sean. Yeah.
and this is what brings hope to maybe give to South Africa a new breath of oxygen. There are people like you, many people like you, who are hidden and they cannot talk. But today you have given to me, at least, an important lesson. I have been learning a lot from your words. So,
Gosh, no, not really. Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
so Lorna, I wish to thank you. It was an honor and a privilege to have you in this brief phone interview, and I do hope that all the people that have been watching this interview with you will be blessed and will be happy as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Jean-Pierre, I was terrified. I don't like to expose myself or I thought you'll ask me, I don't know the answers. So I was dreading actually to come and talk because you never know.
Yes.
But it has been rewarding, even if I talk too much or too much of the past. But it's very kind of you to even consider that I'm worth talking to.
Your words are precious like gold, Lorna.
Thank you.
So don't cry, don't cry. So don't cry, because otherwise you will make me cry, and if we both start crying during the interview, then the audience will have a terrible image of the two of us.
That's true, yes. Yes, the thing now is to go and make a coffee and eat a chocolate.
Exactly, exactly. So,
Lots of love, Jean-Pierre, and thank you for even remembering me. Forget about wanting to interview me at least. And I think it's very kind of you. Thank you
Okay.
very much, and I say goodbye.
Thank
All
you.
right?
Thank you. Bye-bye, Lorna. A lot of love
Thank
from
you.
me. A lot of love.
Yes.
Bye-bye,
And a big
Lorna.
hug.
A big hug. Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
Lorna. Bye.
Bye-bye, Jean-Pierre.